Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome in. How are y'all doing? Come on in. As you enter, please hit that like. That does help the channel. It helps the video get out to more people. More people will see what exactly is happening in case they're not following local or world news. Rather, they'll know what's going on. Good to see y'all on this Thursday. I was actually headed out and I saw this and said, hey, let me push my other video back and let me do this live video right here. Thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate it. So there has been a plane crash with 242 people aboard. 10 of those are employees, and they say there are no survivors. The plane crash shortly after takeoff. I'm just going to go directly into a lot of news feed and footage of it. So trigger warning for those out here, because I don't know if it's graphic or not, but definitely prayers out to the families who are now finding out if their loved ones were on that particular plane. Hey y'all, welcome in. Thank you for coming in. Please hit the like, subscribe if you are new to the channel. We cover news you can use. We also do homesteading, gardening, store walkthroughs to show you what the prices are and what the shelves may be looking like due to the tariffs that are out there. Although I did hear that there was some sort of agreement that could take place. It has to be approved by both Trump and also China. So we're keeping track of the prices because the prices are going up. I know people are tired of hearing it. Prices are going up, and it's kind of crazy why they're going up. I know we're here for this. I'm trying to wait and let people come in, but I kind of feel like even if it's American made, the prices are still rising because they know that they can, and they can blame it on the tariffs. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let's get into this video. I'm not going to put sound to it, but you see where the plane had just taken off, and then it starts to decline. And then you see a plume of fire, smoke. The flight was headed to London. 232 passengers, 12 crew on board. Passengers included 169 Indian, Portuguese, and 1 Canadian citizen. Emergency teams have been activated at the airport in India. Footage shows thick smoke rising from the wreckage. This is Air India's first major crash since January 2022. Let's go here.
Airport at an airport in Ahmedabad. This video shows heavy black smoke near the airport. Air India has confirmed that it was one of its planes that was traveling to London. We're going to bring in now CNN Salma Abdelaziz. Salma, what details have you learned so far?
We just received word that there were 242 passengers and crew on board that flight, 242 souls. And when, of course, you look at these images, Adi, that we are looking at of this thick black smoke pluming from the site of the accident, of emergency crews rushing to that scene, it is very difficult to imagine if any of those 242 souls have survived this crash, which happened less than a minute after takeoff at only 625 feet. Of those 242 people on board. 169 are Indian nationals, 53 are British nationals, 1 Canadian national, and 7 are Portuguese nationals. That's according to an Air India statement. The airliner has also set up an emergency services center to provide support to the family.
Again, trigger warning for people, because this was a trigger for me. When I saw the plume, before I realized that it was a plane crash, first thing that popped into my mind, because I had just watched a video and somebody was visiting the site of the World Trade Center and showing the names and all of that stuff. And that was triggering me because that was traumatic for me during that time. Just because I had worked a 12-hour shift that night, and then that morning sitting and watching the news on the Today Show and actually seeing the first plane hit, and then realizing that a plane also hit the Pentagon as well, where my brother-in-law was working and was there. So it's all triggering, and you don't think things are going to trigger you until you actually see something. So that's why I say trigger warning.
And to provide support to those emergency crews on the ground. We've also heard from India's civil aviation minister, who says he is doing his utmost to provide whatever is needed for those rescue workers on the ground. But you look at those scenes again, the charred buildings, the crowds, the residents, you wonder how big the epicenter of damage is when it comes to.
And that's the thing too, because I didn't watch this. Is 242 passengers on the plane. That's not to say maybe people lost their lives that were in those buildings. I don't know if those were office buildings or homes or, apartments. I don't know.
This plane crash. This plane was also supposed to land here in London at about 6:30 local time at Gatwick. We've heard confirmation from Gatwick that that flight was expected, which means that families on this side could also be asking questions this morning as they try to find out, again, what happened to the 242 people on board that flight. For now, the focus is, of course, on the scene of the crash, where emergency rescue workers are working right now through the rubble, through the charred buildings, through the fires that you're seeing on your screen there. And the other focus, of course, the other epicenter, of course, is going to be this emergency services center that's been set up by Air India. You can expect that family members will be rushing there with questions, with fear, with worry and concern. Adi.
Joining me now to discuss, CNN transportation analyst Mary Schiavo. Mary, first, let's just talk about it taking off and apparently crashing so soon after takeoff. What are you thinking as you hear the early reports about what's happening?
Well, as I hear the early reports, this is 787 Boeing Dreamliner. This will be the first major crash, the first crash of a Dreamliner. And as we can see, there's also some footage floating around out there on the internet. If it's correct, it does appear that the plane was just after takeoff. I don't see any flaps deployed. Now, flaps are like little winglets on the back of the plane, little parts of the wing that help give it lift. And you use those at various parts in the flight. I don't see those deployed. And also the important clue is that the pilot was able, according to unconfirmed reports, able to get off a mayday call. That means that the pilots knew they had a problem, some kind of a problem on the plane. We don't know yet if it's a mechanical or some other issue, but by being able to communicate that mayday call, we do know that the pilots were having trouble with the plane. So already there are many, many clues, but the explosion that was recorded on some tape that's floating on the internet, unconfirmed, does not look like it would have been a survivable crash,
and we should say
tragically.
We're showing images that we've been able to verify. I caution people out there about what you're seeing on the internet, but the images we're seeing here are incredibly striking. We're having people hand pull away luggage and materials from that crash scene. You mentioned the Dreamliner. What's significant about that? What was significant about this style of plane that draws your attention to it being the first to be in a crash?
Well, what's significant is it was, when it came on the market, now admittedly several years ago, the newest, it had a lot of features on that aircraft that made the aircraft, how should we put this? It made the aircraft less susceptible supposedly to pilot errors. It had a lot of additional flight assists and other equipment. And of course, people will be thinking immediately about the Boeing crashes of the two 737 MAX 8 aircraft, not the same as this one. But in the course of that investigation, it was revealed that there was a lot of equipment on that plane that took the control away from the pilots, and that turned out to be deadly. It was called the MCAS, which drove the plane into the ground against the commands of the pilots. Now, from the video that's out there, and what happened is that the aircraft in those crashes pushed the nose down. The pilot pulled it up, the plane kept pushing the nose down. I don't see that in the one very short video clip, but some of the equipment is the same, and this is not the same aircraft as those two prior Boeing crashes, but that will put tremendous pressure on Boeing, on the investigators, on the regulators to see if there is any correlation between those crashes and the computer equipment and computer programming on this plane, which is, like I said, the newest, most modern plane of the Boeing fleet.
If your neck looks like this, you need to watch this video. When you sit at your desk or use your phone, your head protrudes forward. And for
the last time we had you on CNN this morning, I believe you were talking about the crash in the Potomac, and you were talking about the difficulties created and.
Okay, so we going back to the Potomac crash, but we're not going to address the crash that just took place. If I'm not mistaken, it was San Francisco. I read about it the other day. The actual, what date was I did the protest? Maybe, yeah, the other day I did a protest video on my other channel, and there was a plane crash.
Having a recovery or a rescue scene over water. With this, it looks like it's right.
And it landed in water. It crashed in water. No survivors there either.
In a city. People are pulling some of this debris away from buildings, charred buildings. How do you even begin to investigate something that is in a scene like this?
Well, and they've, sadly, investigators have had to do this hundreds or literally thousands of times. And so what will happen next is literally an international team of investigators. It will be the India's team. They will be the lead investigators because it happened in India. The United States National Transportation Safety Board will attend because it's a Boeing aircraft. So they will be invited into the investigation because the aircraft was made in the United States. And England will be involved, the UK, because there will be many passengers on there and it was bound for England. So it will be an international group of investigators. But the first thing they do is, of course, try to remove any survivors and, of course, all remains. And then they're going to be looking for those black boxes. This aircraft has the newest, most modern version in the world of black boxes. It will record, hundreds of different settings on the plane. If it was having a mechanical, chances are it will be recorded on the flight data recorder. If the flaps were not set correctly, for example, it will be on the flight data recorder, and the cockpit voice recorder will record whether or not there was a mayday call and what they were able to say they perceived going wrong with the aircraft when they got the mayday call out, if that's correct. So the next order of business will be to get those black boxes. Because the plane was American made, they will likely be downloaded. The data will be downloaded in the United States outside of Washington, D.C. There's a lab, but it doesn't have to be. India can do it too. Britain can do it. So those will be the first steps in the investigation, in addition to, of course, identifying and getting the passenger list, the manifest of who all was on board, notifying everybody, and setting up what's called a care team. The airlines are required to have a care team to care for the families, to care for the persons who may have survived, to provide medical care, counseling care, to provide immediate cash support to those families of anyone on the plane to get there, to hear the briefings on the investigation, et cetera. So there are a lot of moving parts right now, most of which are all covered by regulations and by international laws and treaties.
It's just so many people on the scene. Does that mess with the investigation? I get moving the luggage because you can also identify that way as well, but you do have a manifesto that helps with that. But it's just so many people out there just walking all over everything. And I don't know, maybe they're looking for if there are any survivors. It's just chaos. You get what I'm saying? It's like no coordination to it. It's just like, okay, a plane went down, everybody run to the scene. Even if you're not working for a particular organization, you're just there. And everybody's just, helping. I get it. You want to help. You see stuff like that, you run to it. That's happened to me. I've seen accidents happen in front of me, and I stop what I'm doing and run to the accident and don't even think about my own safety in the process. So it's just adrenaline. But that's just a lot of people. That's a lot of people, because you're going to be looking for a black box, which most black boxes aren't black. I don't know why they call it that, but I don't know. It's just a lot of people. I'm gonna go over to TikTok and see if there are any footages out there.
And according to the website Flight Radar, it reached the altitude of 625 feet before losing signal. According to authorities, there were 242 people on board. Of those 242, 10 were cabin crew, 2 of them were pilots. Now, in the last few moments, we've received confirmation by Air India that on board were 53 UK nationals, 1 Canadian, 7 Portuguese, and the rest, 169, were Indian nationals. We understand that there were about 10 or under a dozen or so children on board as well. According to Gatwick Airport, which...
That's what I had been wondering and praying, that there weren't any children on board. I'm going to take it back a little bit. They didn't even report that on CNN. This is why it's good to have different outlets to look at.
A dozen or so children on board as well. According to Gatwick Airport, which was the final destination, it crashed just moments after takeoff, and it was due to land here in England at 6:25 local time. So here's what we know about the Air India AI-171 that crashed in India upon departure today. This was a Boeing.
Horrifying scenes in India. Huge plumes of smoke rising over the western city of Ahmedabad. Air India Flight 171, bound for London Gatwick, disappeared from radar within seconds of departure. Eyewitnesses say the jet plunged and erupted into flames, with 242 people on board. Flight tracking data shows the Boeing 787 lost signal at 625 feet, less than a minute after takeoff.
This is a Boeing 787. This will be the first accident involving a 787, and it just celebrated.
Disappeared from radar within seconds of departure. Eyewitnesses say the jet plunged and erupted into flames, with 242 people on board. Flight tracking data shows the Boeing 787 lost signal at 625 feet, less than a minute after takeoff.
This is a Boeing 787. This will be the first accident involving a 787, and it just celebrated 1 billion passengers carried safely over 11 years. It's basically had a flawless record. Up till today, no passenger has been lost on this Boeing 787.
Its safety record, until today, virtually spotless. The crash site near a heavily populated area, now swarming with emergency teams. India's civil aviation minister says all agencies are on high alert, coordinating rescue and recovery. Gatwick Airport, where Flight 171 was supposed to land, confirmed the incident. Instead of welcoming loved ones, families there now contacting Air India's emergency support center.
It doesn't look coordinated, but maybe it is.
An Air India flight carrying 242 passengers has crashed after takeoff. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner was heading for London Gatwick from Ahmedabad.
The reason I keep clicking on different ones is because everybody's reporting something maybe someone else didn't report. I'm just trying to get a full picture of what happened.
That airport in northwestern India. There were reportedly 53 British nationals on board. Video shows the plane careening back to Earth in the Magani area of the city just minutes after leaving the runway. The cause of the crash is not yet known, but the scale of the damage suggests there are likely to be heavy casualties. This is a breaking story. Follow along at dailymail.com for all the latest.
Here's what we know about the Air India flight AI-171 crash as of 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Flight tracking and air traffic control data show the plane climbed to about 600 to 625 feet before issuing a mayday call and disappearing from radar. The Boeing 787-8, headed to London from Ahmedabad, took off at 1:38 local time with 242 people on board. Among them were 169 Indian nationals, 53 British nationals, 1 Canadian, and 7 Portuguese nationals. The plane crashed in a residential area near the airport, reportedly hitting a doctor's hostel, according to a senior police official speaking to ANI news agency. Emergency crews are still working at the crash site. Some injured passengers are being taken to nearby hospitals, and recovery of bodies is ongoing. So far, there have been no official confirmation on the number of casualties. India's aviation authority, DGCA, along with Boeing and Airbus investigators, have launched a full investigation.
And see, she just, I'm saying she, but it might be AI, but just mentioned that that was like a doctor's office or whatever. So no one else was saying what that building was. I was thinking it was apartments.
Recovery efforts for the flight data recorder, also known as the black box, are in progress. Aviation expert Marco Chan said the weather was clear at the time of the crash. Authorities are also looking into whether the aircraft's heavy fuel load for the long-haul flight may have worsened the fire. This is an ongoing story, so follow Brute for more updates.
We're following breaking news from Western India, where a plane carrying 242 people has crashed shortly after taking off for London. This is the first video from the scene after the Air India flight slammed into a neighborhood. The city's commissioner says there doesn't appear to be any survivors, and there are likely casualties on the ground as well.
The plane was a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. This morning, the company says it's working to gather more information on this. The airline says among those on the flight.
Now, see, they're saying right here is showing hit a residential area. The other one said, well, that one building was a doctor's office. So it hit more than that doctor's office.
Were 169 Indians, 53 Britons, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian person. According to the Aviation Safety Network database, this is the first crash involving a 787 Dreamliner since it was introduced in 2009.
We're following breaking news from Western India, where a plane carrying 242 people has crashed.
Oh, it's like crashed directly into the building. Wait, look. Hold on.
At this point, the main focus for those who are at the crash scene in India, seeing if there are any survivors at all. There have been reports that there are obviously many fatalities. Whether or not anybody was able to survive this crash, we don't know at this point. In terms of the investigation into the accident, that's going to take some time. The first priority is looking for survivors, and then after that, those victims who were killed in the crash, removing those bodies. Then investigators will be able to say, okay, let's look at the aircraft. Let's get the cockpit voice recorder. Let's get the data recorder. Let's see what went wrong with this flight. Very unusual for a plane to lose power like this a minute or two after taking off. There's no indication at this point what may have caused that. But that's going to be the primary focus for the investigators. Why did it lose power? Was there something structurally that went wrong? Was there something with the engines that caused the plane to fall so quickly? Those are going to be the two primary questions.
They're also going to look into, was it some kind of cyber issue as well?
There, I have reached out to veteran crash investigators and have said, look, based on what you're seeing so far, is there anything unusual here? And all of the ones that I have talked with so far have said the same thing. Nope, too early, not enough based on just what we know and what limited video is out there to even speculate as to a possible cause for this crash. But for Boeing, this is going to add new scrutiny in terms of quality and the manufacturing process for the 787 Dreamliner. There have been more than a few critics who have said, look, this is an aircraft that is not properly put together. A former Boeing engineer has said that. Boeing has refuted all of those accusations.
He's jumping over a Boeing engineer said that that plane was not put together properly. And you can look up articles where the whistleblower some kind of way ended up unalived.
In the past, and the Dreamliner has a very safe track record. This is the first crash involving a Dreamliner in terms of the engines. These are GEnx-1B engines. Those are one of the primary engines for the Dreamliner. It also has a very strong track record. So both of those come into this this incident with good track records. Now we'll find out if there was something that went wrong, either mechanically, within the software, etc. That's going to be the focus for investigators.
And Phil, that could take days, I would assume, at least, before they really have any clear indications of what happened. Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, Becky, it may take weeks or months. I mean, there have been accidents where they have a general idea, but they don't have the root cause. Investigators don't for a long time. And you'll see, while India, because it was a crash in their home country, they will lead the investigation. But no doubt the NTSB and the FAA will have teams. If they're not already on their way to India, they will be shortly. At this point, the main focus for those who are at the crash scene in India, seeing if there are any survivors at all. There have been reports that there are obviously many.
Okay. So I just found something. Let me try to pull it up here, and then I'll share it with you guys. I got to switch over to my other account. Let's see what Fox News is saying first before I go to that. And it's on the engineers and it's multiple whistleblowers for Boeing that have been found deceased. Okay. At the warning about certain things.
News alert, an Air India plane with 244 people on board bound for London Gatwick Airport crashing shortly after takeoff into a residential area in India. A huge plume of thick black smoke you can see filling the sky.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this for the first time, too. The aircraft is a Boeing 787 and received the last signal just seconds after takeoff at 625 feet. According to flight radar, that is, India's aviation ministry also says the nation is on the highest alert and rescue teams have been mobilized.
So this is what we know. All flights are currently suspended at that airport.
Highest alert to me is like they're thinking outside of the box, that it's more than just an issue with the plane, that it could be something, that interfered.
In India, until further notice, there is no word on any casualties yet, and the airline says that they will share more details when they are available. Britain is working with Indian authorities to urgently establish.
But we now know, so I'm going to get off of them. We now know that there were casualties, over 200, and probably some that's on the ground as well. Let me pull this up. Oh, here we go. How are y'all doing today? History. Okay. Commercial play out. Then share it. Oh, why did it go? Hold on. It's wrong. That sucks. I clicked the wrong video. Here it is. Well, that's one. Where's the other one? Okay. Okay, now I can share it. So here's the first guy that they found, a Boeing engineer, whistleblower. Let me back it up. Make sure y'all can see it. Okay.
Update on the ongoing fallout with Boeing. We are learning this morning that a former employee turned whistleblower was found dead. His death comes as yet another Boeing plane was involved in a midair mishap. NBC senior correspondent Tom Costello has more.
This was a year ago.
This morning, police in Charleston, South Carolina, tell NBC News they are aware of the death of a former Boeing employee turned whistleblower. 62-year-old John Barnett found dead on Friday from what the coroner calls an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
So this is my retirement plaque.
Barnett retired from Boeing in 2017 after working as a quality manager for more than 30 years. Since his departure, he has taken legal action against the company, claiming he was retaliated against for raising safety issues internally, issues that Boeing denied at the time. Back in 2019, Barnett sat down with Today describing a haphazard safety culture at Boeing.
From day one, it's just all been about schedule and hurry up and just get it done, push the planes out, we're behind schedule.
And let me just say that all of these things are alleged. At no way saying that Boeing had a fixer come in and fix the situation for them, but take it at his word.
You know, we don't have time to worry about issues that y'all bring up.
In 2017, the FAA released a review upholding many of Barnett's concerns. With regards to his sudden death, the company released a statement writing, "We are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing, and our thoughts are with his family and friends." Production standards at Boeing are under intense scrutiny following a series of troubling incidents involving Boeing planes. The latest on Monday, when a 787 from the South American airline LATAM apparently dropped abruptly mid-flight from Sydney to Auckland.
Notice it is the same 787 that crashed that I just showed y'all. So there are issues. Now they're saying that that was the first major crash of a 787, but not the first major issue with the 787. And that's what he had been warning everybody about. And then all of a sudden he's not here anymore.
Injuring at least 50 passengers and crew members. The airline says it's unclear what caused the strong movement on the flight. NBC News has also confirmed the Justice Department has launched a criminal investigation into Boeing following the blowout door plug on a 787 MAX 9 in January. The NTSB determined the plane left the Boeing plant without critical bolts that hold the plug in place. A scathing new FAA audit also found Boeing failed to comply with its own quality control procedures.
We're working with Boeing and demanding that they come up with a very detailed plan within the next 90 days to fix the quality issues that are out there.
Now, I don't know what the plan they came up with because I don't follow this type of stuff, but it reminded me when they were saying 787 and the issue, it reminded me of what happened to this gentleman and someone else that I'm about to show you.
NBC's Tom Costello with that report.
Okay. So let me find the other one. I had it already pulled. I don't know what happened to it. Let's see, we just covered him. So let's cover Anthony. The first one, I don't know what his name is. I said Anthony, but that's not his name, y'all. So I apologize for that. Let me pull it up. Okay. This will be the last one. And then I'm going to go back and see if there's any update. And then we can get out of here. Thank y'all for coming in. If you have not hit that like button, definitely hit the like button. It helps the video get out to more people. More people will know exactly what is going on out here. And before I show this, hold on. It doesn't need to be that big. I want to say thank y'all so much. Y'all know this is my job. I do YouTube. It is my job. I get paid from doing YouTube. Sometimes it's enough and sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes videos do well. Sometimes they don't do well. But I keep pushing forward because I had a goal in mind because y'all know I have cataracts. I'm trying to get that done. Although I do have insurance now, health insurance. It won't pay for the cataracts until next year. So I was trying to get the money up to get at least one of my eyes done because both of them are bad, but this one is the worst. They say I have the eyes of an 80-year-old, so I struggle to read these news stories. I struggle with driving. I struggle on a daily basis. I'm not living my best life. Okay, I'm squinting more because the light bothers me. But I have, thanks to y'all, because I could not have done it without God and of course, and without y'all watching the videos, hitting the like button, leaving your comments. And if you share the video, I thank you for that because you have helped me at least make enough money to get one eye done. Okay. And it's not cheap. Trust and believe me, it's thousands of dollars. So I'm going to get the worst eye done. When I get off here, I'm going to either go by the doctor's office or either I'm going to call them and reschedule because I was supposed to have it done last month and I did not because I did not make enough money. I just was not making enough money on YouTube. So when I'm saying please hit the like, share, comment, all that stuff, y'all just don't know how much that helps the channel. And I do appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed that, you know, people have their own lives. They have things to do. They don't have time to be sitting down watching no videos. So if you can play a playlist and just walk away from it, you ain't got to watch it if you don't want to watch it. And you could turn it down, not all the way, like maybe on 1 or something like that. It helps the channel. It helps me grow and get more people in to watch and see the news, the homesteading, the gardening, you know, showing you how you can and stuff, even though I haven't done that in a minute, but I do have a canning playlist. For those people who say, all you do is Walmart stores. I do so much more. Just go through the channel. It's so much on there, so much content that you can watch if you have not seen. But it does help support the channel, because sometimes, you don't get paid a lot, or a video don't make any money. It might make $10, you know what I'm saying? But it all adds up eventually. But it took me a while to get to the point. I'm just happy that I'm at the point where I can actually get at least one eye done, and I'll worry about the other eye next year with the insurance. So thank y'all. I appreciate it. So let's finish this video out so we can get out of here. But I didn't want to leave without saying that part. And if you hear my stomach, I'm fasting. That's why I keep sipping on the water. Fasting today.
Good morning and welcome back. Here's an eyebrow raiser. A second.
Yeah, this is the second person.
Boeing whistleblower, now dead after experiencing a brief illness. This comes after Joshua Dean expressed concerns over manufacturing issues with the company's 737 MAX planes.
Different plane. The other guy was 787. This one is the 737. Either way, they're expressing issues because they are concerned about people flying on these planes.
Madeline Rivera is live with the latest on this. Madeline.
Hey, good morning, Guy. Joshua Dean's family says this all happened very quickly. The 45-year-old died Tuesday after an agonizing 2 weeks in critical condition, rather. His aunt tells the Seattle Times Dean started having trouble breathing. He was intubated, got pneumonia, and then MRSA. Before he died, doctors were considering amputating his hands and feet, but he was too weak for surgery. His attorney says Josh's passing is a loss to the aviation community and the flying public. He possessed tremendous courage to stand up for what he felt was true and right and raise quality and safety issues. Dean used to work as a quality inspector for Spirit Aerosystems, a Boeing supplier. He was fired in April 2023. He said it was in retaliation for flagging safety concerns regarding the 737 MAX plane. Dean was mentioned as part of a shareholder lawsuit against Spirit in which he alleged Spirit would throw pizza parties to celebrate a drop in the number of problems. But he said Spirit undercounted the defects instead of actually reducing them. The death of Dean comes just weeks after the death of John Barnett. Barnett was a Boeing whistleblower who local authorities say shot and killed himself March 9th. Barnett was also in the middle of a lawsuit claiming he was wrongfully terminated by Boeing after accusing the company of covering up defects with the 787 Dreamliner. Boeing and Spirit are under a lot of scrutiny after a door panel flew off an Alaska Airlines plane in midair in January. In March, the FAA gave Boeing 90 days to come up with an action plan to fix quality control issues. Brian.
So that's what's happening with Boeing and the whistleblowers. Hold on, I'm looking for something. Let's see if we can get an update on. Let's get an update report. Let's see, that was an hour ago. I guess we'll go with this one. Who is this? CBS News. We'll go with CBS News. We can get out of here. I don't know how updated this is. An hour ago. The other one's like 4 hours ago.
Yet this. Back everyone, I'm Errol Barnett as we continue to follow multiple major stories for you this morning, beginning with a plane crash in India from just a few hours ago. I've got to give you a warning here.
Is that the guy that got arrested? Hold on. Is that the guy that got arrested at the protest? I'm gonna have to look that up before I leave because he looks like the guy. It was a I don't know if it was CBS, a reporter who got arrested in Los Angeles at one of the protests.
This video just came into our newsroom, and our CBS News confirmed team has verified that it is real. You're seeing the aircraft there. Within 1 minute of departing and taking off, it descends behind a building, and then a huge fireball comes out of the wreckage. India's top health officials are saying many were killed. CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio is following the story from our London bureau. It's horrific to see that, Remy. And I'm thinking of the relatives who are in London waiting for their loved ones, seeing that footage. What do we know about this crash?
Yes, Errol, absolutely disastrous, anxiety-inducing images that are now still coming out from India. That plane was an Air India passenger flight flying a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. There were more than 240 passengers and crew on board, and we just saw its last seconds in the air. You could see it losing altitude. The airplane tracking site, Flight Radar, said that that plane lost its signal less than a minute after takeoff. That was at an altitude of about 625 feet. And then we see there on the screen again that massive, massive fireball. Now, this is in India's western city of Ahmedabad. The flight was on its way here to the UK, specifically to London's Gatwick Airport. And having just taken off, that of course means the plane was loaded up with fuel. This was for a 4,000-mile flight for more than 9 hours. And Air India says has come out with a passenger manifest. Most of the people on board were Indians, 169. There were also more than 50 British, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian national. And the plane appeared to have crashed into what seemed to be apartment blocks in some social.
And according to one report, at least 10 children.
Social media video, we saw laundry hanging from some balconies, and the tail, or at least a portion of the tail, resting on the top of what we have also verified as a hospital. So more information still coming out, and we'll keep on updating.
Remember, I know that, that we don't know much yet, but this aircraft seemed to have had a pretty solid record. I'm talking about the model of aircraft that crashed, since we just don't know what caused the incident. Do we have any leading theories yet from officials?
Sure. No leading theories at this point. This is still very much an active investigation. But it is important to note that this is the first plane crash involving a Boeing 787. And Boeing...
Again, the first plane crash of a 787, but not the first issue with a 787. And see, let me not get into it, because according to the whistleblower, the first one that I shared with you guys, they had issues. They just didn't have a crash. And I guess he wanted to blow the whistle on that so that maybe they wouldn't have this crash.
Itself has come out with a statement saying we are aware of initial reports and are working to gather more information. But this model of aircraft has had battery issues in the past. The fleet was grounded, but that was in 2012, before this particular model was built. It's important to note that this airplane was delivered in 2014, so that was after. But again, Errol, this is now shaping up to be one of India's worst air disasters in history.
So, yeah. That's it, you guys. Thank y'all for coming in. I do appreciate it. I hope y'all have a really blessed day. Again, prayers out to those families who are finding out or waiting to hear whether or not their loved ones made it out of that, or if they were even on it. I will see y'all later on today. I don't know if the video I had that was supposed to come out at 10 is going to come out later, or if I'll do a different video. We'll see where the day takes us. I'm about to go out and try to do a little Uber Eats right now, delivery. But I thank y'all for coming in. Let me give some little shout outs. Hey, Wanda, good morning. How are you? Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Judy. Good morning. Hey, did you hear the news about Elon Musk to his plant in Memphis? No, I haven't. The only Elon Musk news I've heard is that he was tweeting Trump at 3 in the morning. that he regrets some of the things that he said about him. Please pray for our military over the Middle East. They are in danger. They went. Oh, wow. Really? Thank you, Wanda. What happened with that? Hold on. Let me see. Oh, I gotta get some of these little videos out. Close some of these browsers first. Got a few browsers open. What would you say? Middle East military. Okay, I'm gonna share this with y'all because this is crazy. I was looking for something else on TikTok earlier, and this video came up while I was looking for what I was looking for, but I thought I lost this. I don't understand it at all, but we're gonna let him speak and share his video. I would love for y'all to tell me how this is possible, or can you smell a cover up? Because I smell a cover up. Let me share. This has nothing to do with the airplane, nothing at all. This is just a random TikTok video of something that happened, something very disturbing that happened to this woman. God rest her soul. But they lying, and they need to bring her fiance in because I feel like he had something to do with this, but maybe he knows somebody and they covering it up. Okay, here we go.
They found her body chopped up.
Let me back up.
So the police found this white lady in Connecticut. They found her body chopped up in over 52 pieces scattered all around her home. They even found a murder weapon by the pond. Y'all heard what I said? They found her body chopped up in 52 pieces. And the police said it was a suicide. A suicide. How do you chop yourself up in 52 pieces? And the police say it was suicide.
Y'all, please make that make sense. The police found her body when they entered her apartment or house. They found her body scattered around the house in all these different pieces. I don't know if it's exactly 52 pieces. That's what he's saying. But in pieces all over her apartment or home. Her head was found in the trunk of the car. But upon investigation, they said in a press conference that I'm about to show you, she did it to herself. It was self-inflicted. I'm puzzled. I'm in pieces right now because I'm puzzled. I don't understand how that is even possible. Let me see. Any comments, anybody, before I finish the video out? Because it's crazy. What? Who do they expect to believe? Listen. I had to watch this twice because I'm like, okay, is this an AI video? Is it fake? Because I've gotten punked on some videos. I was feeling sorry for the little kids. Thought the kid mama had left them in a shopping cart, and I told my daughter, I sent it to her, and I said, my soul hurts right now. And she texted me back, and she's my oldest daughter that lives in South Carolina. She says, Mama, why is your soul hurting right now? And that bothered me. I'm like, what she mean? Why is my soul bothering me right now? Did she not hear me say my soul is bothering me right now? It hurts because this child is left in a shopping cart on the street and some random stranger is asking him, where's his mom? She said, she texted me back. She probably had a good laugh. And then she texted me back because she was at work. She said, Mama, you know, it's a skit. That's that lady's baby that asked him where his mama is. She said, you didn't see the cell phone in the child's hand? She know I got cataracts. She know I got cataracts. I can't see nothing. I just see a child in a cart and being asked a question. I'm so tired of these people playing on. That's why you don't know what's real, what's fake, what's whatever, because it pulls at your, and you get they get so many views, but yet I could put out a real video telling you about what's really happening and get no views. But if I come on here and I lie to y'all and I tell y'all, you know, some craziness to pull on your heartstrings so I can get more views, more views, more views. I said, I'm done. I'm done with these young folk. I'm done. This is what I told her. I said, I'm done. I said, I did not even pay attention to no cell phone. I did not do any of that. But anyway, back to this. I had to watch it a couple of times. I'm like, is this fake? Is this AI? Because, you know, they can make the words. Because there's no way in the world that a police department would come out in a press conference after hearing this story and tell us that this woman took her own life. Mind you, they found the murder weapon down by the lake. Pieces all throughout the house, head in the trunk, murder weapon by the lake. I said, there's got to be an AI moment where, you know, they make the, almost like a one of those old movies, kung fu movies where, you know, you're talking and it, but they fixed the words now. So it looks like the people are saying it. I said, I'm hoping this is an AI video. I'm hoping I'm being punked right now because there's no way they think we're this dumb that this woman took her own life. Okay. I know y'all like, go ahead, girl, finish playing this thing. Here we go.
But don't believe me. Listen to the story right here. This is crazy.
New details today in the gruesome death of a Connecticut woman just 3 days after Katie Linney's body was found chopped up into dozens of pieces. Her death has now officially been ruled a suicide. Officers entered Ms. Linney's home at approximately 12:30 a.m., where they found 59 pieces of her remains scattered throughout the bedroom, kitchen, and garage, leading authorities to conclude this was a, quote, open and shut case of suicide by dismemberment.
Upon entering the residence garage, responding officers located Miss Linney's disembodied head in the trunk of
Hold
the
on.
This is when it became
Let
immediately
me
clear
make it bigger where
Miss
y'all
Linney
can
had
see.
tragically taken her own life.
Autopsy results determined Linney used a combination of weapons to end her.
I'm gonna go back.
Responding officers
She used a lot of different weapons, y'all, to take her life. Have y'all ever heard of anybody doing that? I'm going to use this. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this. No. This is crazy. I don't even know where this is. I don't know what state this is because I can't see it because of my cataracts. Oh, so if y'all can make it out, put it in the comments. And if I don't see it now, I'll see it later when I check the comments back. Like when this video is done, go to the regular comment section and put in there, where is this at? Because I don't feel like even looking up where it is. It's just too unbelievable. Let's go back.
This was a, quote, open and shut case of suicide by dismemberment.
Upon entering the residence garage, responding officers located Miss Linney's disembodied head in the trunk of the deceased vehicle. This is when it became immediately clear that Miss Linney had tragically taken her own life.
Autopsy results.
See, it looks like his mouth is moving, and maybe they're putting the words in there. This can't be real. This cannot be real. This got to be AI. Please, somebody tell me this is AI, and I've been punked again.
Determined Linney used a combination of weapons to end her life that included a kitchen knife, machete, and bone saw, all of which police recovered from a pond approximately 20 yards away. Now, authorities have been unable to inform Linney's fiance, Michael Rittinger, who has been grieving in Tijuana since the day after Linney's death, but they hope this update can help.
See, even the black guy, the reporter, he looks like he's reporting something else. He doesn't look like he's saying what they're saying he's saying. But anyway.
Bring closure to all who cared for the late Catherine Linney.
Miss Linney did not leave a written suicide note behind, but she did call 911, which we believe was a solemn farewell to those she loved.
Can anybody tell me how? How did she cut her
See,
legs off?
Between me and this guy right here, we don't need to be on YouTube. We too old. We too old, because this got to be some AI stuff that's happening right here. There's no way this is real. But I thought I'd share it to let you guys know. Don't always believe what you hear, and even see with your own eyes now, because AI, now they kind of, I don't know, I'm thinking this is a fake video, but because it looks very poorly put together when it comes to the mouth and the words and all that stuff. But some things are very, very believable on YouTube, and you will hear the most crazy stories, but you know it could happen. But you're like, did this really happen? So yeah, that's why I don't be on here other than to get the news that I need. But I see random videos when they pop up, and then they pull me in.
Arms off, then cut her head off, cut her ankles off, her foot off, without her bleeding to death before she get to cut her ears off and all that. How
he's believing
is
it?
this possible? I'm just saying, how is this a suicide, y'all? How?
I think
I just don't see this being no suicide when somebody would chop their own body up in 52 pieces, including their own head, and the police call that a suicide. Make that make sense to me.
Make sense to me. He said, make that make it don't make no
the
sense.
Police.
Bruh. It don't make no sense, bruh. I'm just saying it don't. So y'all, this is what's out here. But let me take him off the screen. Let me do that. I feel like it's gonna rain. Oh Lordy. Ciao. What was that last person's thing? She said, oh yeah, she said, now that might be on TikTok. Let me see. It might be easier if I pull it up on TikTok to see if they have it on there. Military. Oh wait, check that out. Middle East. I'm just putting keywords in. Bunker. Oh, they don't spell it right because I can't see what I'm typing. Oh, I'll be so glad when I can get this surgery. Golly, I take the whole thing out. Military. Middle East. Bunkers. Let's see if they're talking about this in the news on TikTok, because it'll be faster. I know this video is all over the place. So I'm talking about so many different things. That's why I don't go live, because I can't never stay on one topic. Okay, let's see. And then I said, oh, this will be a short video. And then I'm here for 30, 40 minutes to an hour. Let's see.
The growing tensions in the Middle East, as there are new fears this morning Israel is ready to launch a military operation against Iran. There are concerns the U.S. is pulling some non-essential personnel and family members from this region. President Trump spoke about that decision last night.
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But they are being, we've given notice to move out. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yo.
Going Iran into Israel.
Israel has launched multiple airstrikes on Iran.
We have some breaking news. The U.S. is starting to evacuate embassy staff and military families from the Middle East after a direct threat from Iran. Iran's defense minister said this week that if negotiations fail and conflict breaks out, all U.S. bases are within our reach. The first step is Baghdad.
Wait a minute, what? Hold on, because I just read this article on the U.S. Sun last night, and I said, oh, I'm going to do this article. Then I was like, oh, people not going to want to see this article. Who was it? That lady, Gabby something. And she was talking about annihilation and U.S. being attacked and how only certain people, make sure y'all can see me. Only certain people are going to be able to withstand that kind of attack, if you know what I'm saying. So, oh, wow. Okay. Let's back up with him just a little bit.
Breaks out.
Thank you,
all
Brenda.
U.S. bases are,
I think it was Brenda. Thank you, Brenda.
within our reach. The first step is Baghdad, where the State Department has ordered all non-essential Americans
over there.
Middle East after a direct threat from Iran. Iran's defense minister said this week that if negotiations fail and conflict breaks out, all U.S. bases are within our reach. The first step is Baghdad, where the State Department has ordered all non-essential Americans at the U.S. Embassy to leave immediately. Commercial flights are being used, but the U.S. military is standing by to help if needed. In Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar, where the U.S. has major bases, military families have been given the option to leave voluntarily. This isn't a full-scale evacuation, but it is a clear signal that the U.S. sees real danger on the horizon. The Iranian threat comes as talks over the nuclear program have stalled and as U.S. officials grow concerned that Iran or its proxies could launch strikes on American targets in the region. The Pentagon says these moves are precautionary, but it is the strongest warning sign in months that a regional conflict could be coming. It is also a test to see how far Iran is willing to push and whether the U.S. is ready to pull its people out before something hits. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Substack.
Could you provide an update on Iran? We're hearing reports that U.S. personnel are being moved out of the region within striking distance.
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But they are being, we've given notice to move out, and we'll see what happens.
Is there anything that can be done to dial the temperature down in the region?
They can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to allow that.
You know what that means. They got a plan of attack where they're going to drop something on somebody. Once they get the go-ahead to the exact spot, that's what's going to happen. Y'all, listen.
The U.S. is bracing for potential Iranian strikes on its military bases in the Middle East amid rising regional tensions. The U.S. Embassy in Iraq is preparing for evacuation, while non-essential personnel are being withdrawn from posts in Bahrain and Kuwait. Military families across the region have also been cleared for voluntary departure. Forces in Iraqi Kurdistan are on high alert, and the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet has raised readiness levels. A UK maritime warning highlights risks in the Persian Gulf. Iran has warned it will target US bases if nuclear talks collapse. Meanwhile, President Zelensky revealed the Trump administration diverted 20,000 anti-drone missiles meant for Ukraine to US forces in the region. Tensions continue to escalate. The US
We have significant breaking news right now. According to CBS News, Israel is fully prepared to launch an operation into Iran. U.S. officials are learning right now. This is one of the reasons why the United States has told Americans, some Americans, to leave the region. And as a result, the United States anticipates that Iran could retaliate on certain United States bases and sites in Iraq. What this means is Israel could strike Iran. Iran could then strike U.S. interests in the region, and that could lead to a full-scale conflict in the Middle East this evening. Now, Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's envoy to the Middle East, is still planning on meeting with Iranian officials this Sunday for a 6th round of nuclear negotiations. But right now, folks, tensions are at a boiling point. And if Israel launches a strike on Iran without U.S. approval, this could get bad very quickly. So spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack.
Yeah, y'all. So spread the word. Spread this video. I might need to separate this video out and make it a standalone video. We'll see if I can figure out how to do that. Until next time, and thank y'all for coming in. I was showing AI is doing too much, Lisa. Hey, Bertha. If I miss somebody in this chat, I apologize. Hey, Anita. Boo Pucky. Yeah, I think so too. It's the onion. It's a parody. Thank you, Robert. It's a parody. Now I feel like I should comment on that guy's post so he'll know. I don't know. Hey, Martin, how are you? Yeah, I don't think it's real either. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna share this some of the silly stuff that I run across. Thank you, Subliminal. Thank you for being here. Hey, Anita. Yep, it's a joke. They punking people. That poor man is confused. It would have been me had I not been punked in a different video earlier to pay more attention to detail. Yep, Diana. Oh, Lord. Testing him. Oh, my goodness. I thought it was a friendly chat. Someone not being friendly in the chat, Subliminal? Yep, Anita. Hey, Carla. You're so welcome. So yeah, y'all, I'm about to go. Prayers out to those who lost their lives on a serious note in that airplane crash, in the plane and on the ground, who people that did not survive and those who are probably in critical condition that were in that hospital. And also prayers out for the military as well. I think it was something else I was supposed to have been looking up. What was it? Can't remember now. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was supposed to be seeing if that reporter was the one that got arrested. Let me see. At the protests in LA. Let's see. Oh no, CNN. So that's the reporter. The other reporter was CBS. Oh, I recognize him. I don't know his name. I don't really watch CNN like that anymore. But they should have taken him down. Officers. Wait a minute. Back up. I can't see. I gotta pause it, y'all, so I can read. Carroll can be seen putting his hands behind his back as officers move to escort him and his crew outside of the protest zone, telling them, "You can't come back." Oh, why? Just because they're CNN, or were they telling other reporters that? That's interesting. Come on, play. They don't want to play. Oh no, they're handcuffing all of the crew. Allen, veteran New York Post photographer, he was shot with a rubber. Oh wow. So why are they attacking? Oh, not in the head. Oh my God. He got shot in the head. I know that hurt. I know that hurt. Because even though they rubber bullets, they still hurt, y'all. Because people usually take like the rubber bullets. I need to go walking too. People usually take those rubber bullets when they go camping, like, you know, if raccoons and stuff like that try to come into the campground or whatever, they can use the rubber bullets and not kill them. He was wearing his press pass when he was struck in the forehead, fell to the ground, and was later brought to a hospital for whiplash and neck pain. Oh, he about to sue. Those are suing words. You know, people say these are fighting words. Those are suing words. Why are they attacking the press, though? If they don't want the press to report that this is what's happening, that's so sad. If that's what happened, I don't know. I wasn't there. Come on now. Here we go. Oh, this you better be careful, girl. I'm gonna say maybe that cop or that, because they've called Marines out too. Maybe they in the National Guard. Maybe they have cataracts like me and they couldn't see his press badge. I'm just trying to be funny, trying to make light of it, because that's ridiculous. That, I mean, you kind of firing on the wrong people, fire on the people that's actually destroying property, because there are people that are at these protests who mean no good. Okay, they out there under false pretense that they're out there supporting, you know, the people who are protesting for humane rights, obviously. And then you shot the forehead, kind of shows you not going to get humane rights. Oh shit! Oh, excuse me. I need to curse y'all. I'm sorry. I was not expecting that. Did she get hit? Did she just get hit? Oh my God. I did not mean to curse y'all. That I jumped because she scared me. God, wait, I gotta go back. Didn't I just say, didn't I just tell this woman, girl, you better be careful. Oh my God, y'all. I do curse from time to time. I'm trying to stop, but man, that caught me off guard. Yeah, hit. Child. It's dangerous being a reporter right now. Honey. So this is the one that got arrested. I'm gonna have to change my whole title. My There's so much stuff in here. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna have to go back to that. That's crazy. I gotta change my title. This is ridiculous. Edit. So we have no survivors. in plane crash. Gotta shorten that out because now I gotta add other stuff to this. Y'all watching me work. And then we covered, what else did we cover? See what I'm saying? I uncovered too much. Military evacuated. Oh, wait. Child, so much is happening in this video. Okay. Let me go back. I'm supposed to be leaving. She got me all kind of worked up.
As I was walking over to the officer, tried to explain who I was, identified who I was with.
The officer said, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you with. Oh, you with CNN? You for sure going to jail tonight. Because Trump don't like CNN and you got to go. I'm just being funny, but anyway.
I turned, he said, I'd like you to turn around. I turned around and put my hands behind my back. They did not put me in zip ties, but they did grab both of my hands as I was escorted over to the side. They said, you are being detained while we
You're detained, not arrested.
out of this
Either
area.
way.
You are not allowed to be in this area. So they took me over to the side. They took down my name. They asked me where I was from. They get your basic information. And I said, am I being arrested? He said,
y'all, was that the Marines or is that like the LA police? Because there's so many people out there right now. I don't know. We got the Marines out there now. We got the LAPD. We got Sheriff's Department. We got National Guard, all for protests. Now in New York, their mayor, I can't remember her name, the one that seems like she's always on vacation. She put a curfew in. Not everybody followed it, but she put up a curfew in. They might need to do that in LA if they haven't already. They need to do a curfew or something because, child, they trying to show force because this whole parade is happening on Saturday, in DC. I think it's happening in DC. They've even, I saw Don Lemon because I'm a lemon head. I saw where the administration has paid for costumes from a costume company out of Los Angeles for people to wear certain uniforms throughout the whole military, from beginning to now, like the different uniforms that they would wear, whatever. So y'all, it's gonna be thick this weekend. If you anywhere in DC, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and probably some other places gonna have some protests too. Try to be careful, be safe. I know I'm trying to make fun of it, but it's not a funny situation, especially if you know what the cause is, but you know that there are people out there taking advantage of what the cause is just so that they can cause destruction and tear up communities and neighborhoods. It's not always the people from the neighborhood that's destroying the neighborhood. It's outside people that come in from out of state. I want to get in this protest right here and we're going to cause, all this stuff. So many different things are in movement and in play, and people are, whether you like police officers or military or not, putting people in danger. And one may also say that's too much force for just a protest. And I do agree, it's too much force for a protest. It should be handled a different way, but it definitely needs to be handled. I don't feel like the Marines need to come out, and now they're being given the permission to arrest people, which they're not supposed to be working with the ability of police. They're just supposed to be there to protect federal buildings and people within those buildings, not to be out there working in law enforcement capacity. So once you start working in law enforcement capacity, you're now on that line of, in my opinion, martial law. So this is where we are in 2025.
No, you're not being arrested, you're being detained. And so there's that.
On the line, Jason, what's happening right now? Yep. What's going on? I hear you. Am I seeing Jason Carroll being what happened, Jason?
I am being detained. I'm being detained, Laura.
No, he was still mic'd up, y'all. That's crazy. Can't do it. Okay, so LA.
How are you? You guys are under arrest because you're with press, okay?
Okay.
But we have to take you out of the circle. We're going to direct you in the direction that you need to go.
Note what he just said. You're under arrest because you're with press. So it wasn't a matter of that guy or the police not knowing he is press and wearing a press badge. You're being arrested because you're with press. That's what he said.
How are you? You guys are under arrest because you're with press, okay?
Okay.
But we have to take you out of the circle.
You're under arrest because you're with press. So the order has been given by whom? I don't know. I cannot say. I was not in the room when they made the order, and I was not there when he was arrested. But the order has been said and made. And these police and probably Marines and National Guard as well, if they have the permission to arrest, were given the orders, arrest the press is fine. And probably, especially if you CNN, arrest the press. Wow. Come on now. If you don't like CNN, that's fine. You don't have to like CNN. I don't always like CNN either. I feel like all media push agendas, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're human beings. But I feel like agendas are being pushed no matter what the network is. But certain agendas are worse than others. And yet and still, we have supposed to be freedom of speech. Growing up, we were taught words don't hurt, but yeah, they do hurt. But we have the right to say, you don't have to like it, but you have the right to speak it. And so now it's being shut down. So it's feeling more like a dictatorship instead of a presidency. And while I don't support a lot of things that Trump do, there are some things that I do like, but there are a whole lot more that I don't then do. And I don't like suppressing people's speech if you don't like it. You don't have to like it. That's the beauty of America. You don't have to like what someone else say. It should ignite conversation or debate, but instead it's igniting hate. It's like we're going backwards instead of forwards.
Direct you in the direction that you need to go.
Okay.
Do not come back, okay?
Do not come back.
Do not come back, okay?
Okay, got it.
Be arrested.
Got it. This is the crew right here. Let's go.
Get your whole crew over here. Get your whole crew right here.
Yep, this is it.
We're going to take them all out one at a time, so you guys all catch up.
Oh, that's so
What's going
so random. You could have just walked them people out. They would have walked on their own. This was all for show. This was not for anything but for show of force. Because these are grown men, probably women too, that walked over there when they were called. They could have just walked their little behinds on out of there. Not that they should have had to, but they don't want things being shown, or maybe they do want certain things being shown to show this can happen to you too. Watch what you say. So the word has already come out to the officers, you know, arrest the press if they out there. I don't care. This is why I don't cover a lot of administration things anymore, because they're going after content creators as well, who speak poorly or tell the truth. The truth hurts sometimes, but tell the truth. They go after them as well. So
another night of violence in downtown LA where protests against ICE.
CNN. It's time to escalate.
Wait 1 second, John. Hold on. I want to. Jason, what's going on? I hear you. What's
For your safety. Let's go.
if it's for your safety, why do I have to hide out of here? Just let me leave. I leave.
For what? For what? Let's go, man. Why am I shooting? I'm being a direct order to leave.
You don't get boss me around.
Okay. And I'm telling you, for your safety and others, I need you to leave.
It's not.
Okay? Yes, for your safety. Yes, it is.
Unbelievable. It's not.
You don't
4097. 497. You can still.
I get that.
You get that, so you're breaking the law.
But you have
so
to
you
film
say you're breaking the law.
in an area
That's
where
not what it
we
says.
post, okay?
That's not what it says.
Hey.
That is not what
All right,
497
man.
says.
Well, I'm asking you to leave. I'm not going to argue anymore.
There was nothing wrong with us filming those arrests.
You can film from over there.
No, I can't. I'm going to see
Okay,
the
let's
press
go.
over there right now. You guys are going to face one hell of a lawsuit when this is over. How many millions of dollars have you guys cost the city of LA?
Us?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go.
Do you know how many lawsuits?
I'm not
we
asking
have
any
last year?
questions. Let's just walk out.
$147 million. Because you guys can't abide your own laws.
Okay.
She fussing with the wrong person, though. I feel her, but she fussing with the wrong person, because all he is somebody that's got to follow an order. That's all he is. He's a body following the orders. He's not giving the orders.
Thank you, guys.
Boy, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well.
Breaking
I don't know what's
news.
going on.
CNN reporter detained.
It is not going to go well. Wow. So he was the only one arrested. She was allowed to walk away. Guess she wasn't with CNN. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate you for being here. Sorry, this was a longer video than I intended for it to be. I will see you guys in another video. May be news, may not be news. It may be the garden, because that's my peaceful place. So please watch those videos as well if you can. It's all in effort. Well, I'm growing my food, okay, because the prices is high out there. I'm just showing you that you can do it too. And I have to spend so much money in the grocery store. So check those videos out, and y'all take care. Stay safe. God bless each and every one of you.